Hello, everybody. It is a great pleasure to be here with you at the Social Enterprise Leaders Forum. Thank you so much for the invite to the organizers and to all the people that are involved in the event. Well, you have certainly heard about Professor Younus because you're in the framework of social enterprise, but also because he was speaking to you earlier. My name is Juan Nogier. I am the co-founder with Professor Younus of an organization called the Younus Sports Hub, which is basically putting the huge network of Professor Younus in more than 150 countries at the service of the sport industry to solve people's problem. And the way we do that is that we promote social enterprise in the sport industry. We help organizations in the sport industry to implement social business. And finally, we support a community of social business entrepreneurs in the sport industry. Maybe to speak about what we do and the practical aspect about the international sporting events that are happening and that are going to happen in a few years in Korea, and how we can use social business and social enterprise as a driving force to solve people's problem in the framework of this event. Maybe reminding who Professor Younus is. As you know, he's the founder of the Grameen Bank and the initiator of the social enterprise and social business movement throughout the world. He's been defining of course, the social business concept as a business to solve problem. Himself have created more than 60 of these businesses, these social businesses in Bangladesh. A lot of them have a national size. Big social businesses in all the fields that you may think about, such as access to safe drinking water, lack of nurses in the hospital, lack of access to telecommunication, you name it. Professor Younus has been building all of these businesses to solve problem of the people in Bangladesh. And when you think about how we can use this power, this effectiveness of the social enterprise and the social business concept into the sport industry, this is where our organization comes into play. The Younus Sports Hub is about solving problems within the sport industry, but also thanks to all the leverage that we have in the sport industry. So when I think about the problems in the sport industry, we are thinking here about, all these big problems that happen, because sport is no different from any other sector. It has problems, it has flaws. So when you think about gender equality in sport is not very good. When you think about racism in stadium, when you think about distribution of wealth in sport, which look like nearly an impression of the society where you have athletes earning millions, and most of the athletes that are struggling with financier their career or their post-career. So we create programs that uses social enterprise concept to solve these problems within the sport industry. So if we take the problem of wealth distribution among athletes, meaning that some athletes are poor or are unemployed, we have created with the International Olympic Committee a program that is called the Athlete 365 Business Accelerator, which is basically a global incubator on all 5 continents for athletes to become entrepreneur as a way to finance their career or their post-career. So they get the tools, the skills, the access to funding and connection that they need so that they are able to finance their career and go out of poverty. This is, as you see, a completely different approach from just giving government grant or national federation grant to the athlete. It is empowering them through a social enterprise model, meaning a self-sustainable model to design their own financial freedom. So this is one example, but maybe coming to the example that for us today is right in the topic of this forum. When we think about the power that sport has, A big power of sport is about the economic power. It is undeniable that sport is a big sector. In fact, globally, economically, sport represents a 1.3 trillion US dollar business. So it is a huge business. Even when we take it at the scale of one event, the Olympics, this is a 7 billion euro project. This is a budget of the Paris 2024 Olympics. Of course, a lot of people think that this is a waste of money, but we see that as a fantastic opportunity, because think about it, this money would not go to hospital, it would not go to transportation. This is money that is created by the sport industry through the TV rights, through the sales of licensing product, through partnership and sponsorship. So this is actually a fantastic opportunity to solve people problem that we have, because it's a huge amount of money in a small amount of time in a small geographical situation. So how do we do to take advantage of this fantastic opportunity? Well, this is what we have been doing with Paris 2024, with the ESS 2024 platform. ESS 2024 means Social Business 2024 in French. Basically, the idea is the following. We have these 7 billion euros to organize the game. This is a huge budget. This is a huge procurement power. Each one of these euros will be used to buy from product or services suppliers. How can we do to maximize within this big pool of supplier, the supplier that will come from the social enterprise sector? Because these enterprises will not only deliver the product or the service that we need to organize the games, but will also do it with a social or environmental advantage. For example, when we have to buy food for the athletes, for 14,000 athletes, well, we can do it through a standard catering company, but we can also do it through a social enterprise or social business company that will only work with refugees or only employ long-term unemployed people, or will only source locally grown products that are environmental friendly. So you see, we are getting the same product, which is the food, but with a complete different impact. And of course, this is a very simplified way of putting this program, right? Because if it was so simple, we would only go with social enterprise. So maybe a bit more of a detail about what is happening within this program. You know, this is really much about how do we make sure that events organizers, but also supplier of product and services, are creating the maximum impact possible. In a lot of situations, of course, we need strong expertise. You know, we need suppliers that are big suppliers, that have the financial backup, that have experience in big events as well, operationally speaking. So it is not in all the situation about making sure that the social enterprise directly is awarded a market, or that the social enterprises are gathering together to become a bigger proponent and thus earn a tender. These are two very valid options. Another valid option that we are putting forward is how do we make collaboration between smaller businesses and bigger businesses with experience work? The reason why this is very interesting is because if you think about a small social enterprise winning a tender, it will be very positive for them for the short period of time of the event, because they will get some income for it. They will grow their team because of it. But on the long term, if they do not have a strong plan to continue with this growth, it can cause a problem. So we also like to foster this relationship between players, between the big one and the smaller one, not only because it gives a safety for the social enterprise, but also because if a social enterprise and a big player are starting to work together, there are high chances that they continue working together after the Olympic Games, because the big supplier will realize that how great it is to be working with a social enterprise and how they can benefit from working with social enterprises, because then they can propose new services to their client. So the whole ESS 2024 program is built around this. This is built about the amount of budget that goes to the social enterprise. So it is about, on one side, informing all the local small businesses, all the local social businesses and social enterprise about all the events opportunities that exist. There is a strong engagement part, because a lot of these social enterprise, sometimes they are even against the organization of the games because of the carbon footprint or because of the social impact of this event. So the engagement part is very important. Of course, on the other side, this is the informing the ecosystem, but on the other side, we need to do, there's a part of it that is around the sourcing and the support to the event organizer. How do we make sure that we identify the local performing social businesses and the social innovation that are actually able to deliver for the games, and that are actually the solution that can be included into the tenders of the events? Because of course, if the information, if the social innovation is included into the tender, for example, this building needs to be made with recycled material, then it changes totally the amount of money that would go to the social business ecosystem. Whether if it does not say anything, then the supplier, the contractor, will not have to do it with recycled material. So having this second part, which is really about advising the event organizer and the public organization is very important. And then comes the part of training these social businesses to become event ready. How do you do to give your answer to a tender? How do you do to negotiate with the event organizer? And then how do you do to deliver the event? And so there is a big cycle of training for all the social businesses so that they become event ready. So this is not about giving them a privilege. This is about giving them all the tools to be ready to be the best. So we are not giving them the market for free. We are saying you will compete with bigger suppliers, so you need to be ready. This is the whole mindset. And finally, this is a lot about facilitating all the collaboration that was mentioning. The collaboration between social enterprises, the collaboration between social enterprises and bigger enterprises that have a strong experience in event organization. Because at the end of the day, this is all about relationship. This is all about this connection. And this is very successful. In Paris, we are only in the middle of this program, but we have already seen fantastic results. The first one is that already 150 tenders have been awarded to social enterprises. More than 15% of the volume of the tenders, more than 15% of the consortium that have been awarded are including a social business or a social enterprise. And even more interestingly, when you look into the people that are interested by the program, we are more than 3,500 social businesses that are registered onto our platform, which means that are getting the exposure to the fact that the inclusive and sustainable event exists and is happening. And 18,000 people are following our newsletter, which means that individuals are also coming into part of the equation. So I think that here, that I could be speaking an hour more about this program. What is very interesting here is that in Korea, as you may all know, the Gangwon 2024 games are coming up. And of course, we are more than delighted to be supporting Korea in this endeavor to make sure that the Gangwon 2024 Games become both inclusive, sustainable, and for the benefit of the local people. I hope that was a good explanation, and that you will be interested into digging a bit further into this program. I am fully available if you have any question on the ESS 2024 program, and please feel free to contact me if this is of any interest on your side. Thank you so much for the invite once again, and have a great conference.